just wait for some followers to come along. Right, I'm going live across YouTube, Facebook actors worldwide, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So there we have it. Give me a hello if you're along. Say hello. It'd be great to hear from you. It'd be great to hear from some new people. If you've not kind of been across my content before, say hello. If you've ever got any questions or anything like that, I love to be able to offer value to actors. Ollie says, hello, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. Who else is on? Hey, says Tegan. How are you doing? You all right? I hope you're well. What are you all up to today? Anyway, so I'm going to be giving some very, very, very brief but incredibly strong and valuable tips for actors when you get into that audition room. What do you do once you're in that audition room? Let me know if you're an actor. Give me a shout. Let me know what stage of your career you're at. It'd be great to hear from you. Emmanuel Ale, filming in Leeds today, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, it'd be good to hear from, because this is going to be quite brief. It's going to be quite to the point. I would also love to be able to chat to some of you. Let me know what stage of your acting career you're at, where you are in the world, and yeah, what stage of your career you're at. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about audition room tips today. You're an actor, Ollie. Great stuff. And what stage of your career are you at, mate? So I'm going to be talking about acting tips of when you actually get in the audition room. Would you believe that's becoming quite a lot rarer now, particularly in kind of first auditions? Usually now in the room, you are kind of getting towards, you've been quite cut down. Let's face it now. Auditions, as I'm finding them at the minute, as an agent, as an acting coach, effectively we're looking at first audition being self-tape. All right, so get good at self-taping. That's the biggest tip I can give any actor in 2022. Don't think it'll be okay. Get ahead of it. Become an amazing self-taper. Learn how to do bits of editing, understand what equipment you've got, how to enhance everything, how to make it awesome. I've got a full episode on Matt Zena acting tips on YouTube on how to create the perfect self-tape. Watch it, look at it, become amazing. And then what's happening a lot of the times now is, would you believe it, on recall auditions, a lot of them are on Zoom. So again, don't be flappy, as I call it, about Zoom. Be good at it, be confident about it, get on, and really treat it very much similar to a self-tape. Make sure you've got background, good framing, all of that stuff. Again, I've also done an episode on Zoom auditions on YouTube, Matt Zena acting tips. If you want the link to that, it's in my Linktree, Linktree/Matt Zena acting. Kind of click on that and go to Matt Zena acting tips on YouTube. There's also the first ever episode. There isn't any other episodes telling and detailing actors how to do amazing Zoom auditions. But now we're going to talk about when you are in the room, some tips and tricks. Ollie says, had quite a few jobs, but non-proper speaking parts. Ollie, you will get there, my friend. Keep going with your training. Keep working hard. Okay, don't give up. So yeah, when you're in the room, I'm going to talk to you about some big mistakes. Number one, when you go in the room, make sure that you have common courtesy. You might want to knock. Okay. When you get into the room, genuinely, you have to deal with every single person that's in the audition room. Could be up to 6, 7, 8. You never know how many people are going to be in an audition room. One, don't be fazed by it. It's part of your job. Number two, here's what happens and what people get wrong. When you're in an audition room, the person who speaks the least, right, is maybe slightly in the corner making notes. You usually find, from my experience, the person who speaks the least usually has the biggest decision to make. It might be the director, the producer. Usually you will find that the person who speaks the least in a casting audition usually has the biggest decision to make. But you as the actor, because the casting directors may be leading it, you will solely deal with the casting director. And sometimes you can come across slightly rude because you are ignoring the person with the biggest decision to make, and you want to create a connection. You want to give them a positive feeling towards you. So my big audition tip for today is make sure that you make eye contact with everyone, say hello to everyone, smile at every single person equally. Don't ignore anybody in that audition room. Okay? Remember that. It's so important. That includes on the way in, and it also includes thanking people on the way out. Imagine if you're the producer and you are making the overall decision, and the actor walks out, thanks the casting director and anybody else who was a bit vocal, and just ignores you. That happens a lot. All right? So make sure that you genuinely deal with everybody in the audition room equally, because you don't particularly know, unless you've done your research and looked up the producer and what they look like, etc., which some people do. It's a mistake that a lot of actors make. Within the audition, how they usually go is you've got a slate and you kind of do that, be very professional. Then you've got the chat, where they'll chat to you, how did you get here and stuff like that. Big another tip, don't ever answer with one-word questions. What are they doing? They're seeing who you are and what you're about. All these things are cast on your personality traits and personality. All right? If you're not going to give any of your personality to them, they're not going to know who you genuinely are, and they're not going to start to think of you in that narrative role, in that role. So you need to bring that in the chat and on your entry and all over that audition. That's how you leave your stamp on it. Then when you finally do your read, relax, be improvisational, okay? Just be, and that person that you've been during the chat, it needs to come into it. This is what skilled actors do, bring personality to scenes, whereas others become robotic, contrived, and lose that, okay? Jane says, hi, Matt, how are you? No, how are you, Jane? I hope you're well. And I know you're having one of those days where you've had to, obviously it's personal, but you've had a day where you've really had to concentrate on your kind of mindset and resilience and all of this stuff. And I really, really hope that you're doing well, Jane. I really do. Emmanuel says, in-person audition can be scary, but much more advantageous than self-tape in some ways. They're usually now, Emmanuel, as I mentioned before, different stages. By the time you're never going to get a part without being in the room at some stage. All right. But you have to be incredibly good at self-tapes to begin with, because it's just part of the process. And to get you into the room, when you're in the room, then you've got to do that well. So you've got to learn so many skills now as an actor in auditioning. You have to be good at self-tapes. You have to be good at Zoom auditions or meets, and you have to be good in the room. Okay. So it's difficult. You've got a lot of skills now. You really, really have. And when you do the read, don't be robotic, okay? Try and include, and this is acting technique, this is what we teach at MZA, but try and be full of behavior, okay? Behavior goes out the window when people are nervous because they focus on the words, and that is it. Then they become robotic, contrived, all right? But that's a technique thing. But the tips that I've just given you, deal with everyone the same. Take full advantage of the chat to get your genuine personality across, okay? And when it comes to the read, don't let behavior drop out of your performance, okay? So if anyone's got any questions or anything like that, now's your time. You've literally got 1 minute to ask your question. But otherwise, make sure you follow my link tree. Get on Matt Zena Acting Tips on YouTube for tips on self-taping, for tips on Zoom auditions, and for tips on auditions in general, and so many actors tips there. All right. Ollie says, I find self-tapes hard, but in person easier. Right. I don't know if it's because my mum is there and can't act properly, but do you have any tips? Right. Here we go. Right. We have to change our mentality. Self-tapes are here to stay forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. 99% of first auditions are self-tape. Now, actors that don't like self-taping or can't self-tape just will not get ahead. Actors that are smart and realize that self-tapes are here to stay, whether they like them or not, and just make sure that they are just absolutely brilliant at them. Those are the actors that will I'm going to say survive, but I suppose it is, but will succeed. Ollie, very, very simply, don't use any excuses now. Get good at it. Tell yourself you're amazing. My biggest tip for self-tapes is make sure that you think of 3 things. Who you're going to do it with, where you're going to do it, and what you're going to use. Come up with a contingency and get it done within 24 hours. Ollie, promise me you're going to go and look at my video on Matt Zena Acting Tips on YouTube. Follow my link tree straight away. Go follow that video and watch it in full and get good at self-taping. No excuses. Santosh says, hey, hi, Matt on Facebook. How are you? Nice to see you. Wow. You too, Santosh. I hope you're well. I hope you're really, really well. All right. So, Ollie, and I sounded really, really forthright then, but I genuinely want you to succeed, Ollie. I want every single person watching this to succeed. And this is why I sometimes say things really, really direct down the camera and mean it. No excuses with self-tapes. They are here to stay. Actors that get good at them will succeed. Actors that don't like them and get very negative towards them will struggle. Okay? Because as well as that, self-tapes casting directors aren't actually doing it as you either get an audition or a self-tape. It's actually they are doing it where you get a self-tape and then they consider you for an audition. So you have to get through a self-tape for most auditions anyway. All right? Does that make sense, everyone? All right? Make sure you are incredibly good at self-taping. No excuses. Right. I hope you enjoyed these valuable tips that I've put out today. They really are from top drawer. Make sure if you've only just logged on, you go back and watch it. Always, always, always make notes. And every single one of you get over to YouTube and watch my videos in order to get all of those top tips on audition technique. As well as that, anybody who's watching this from September, when MZA reopens, to everyone, I'm offering out some free trial classes for September. DM me instantly or kind of drop your email to me and I will get you a free acting class. Right, have an amazing day, everyone. Bye.